You know, I like nothing better than when someone says that they can disprove something with a question. There's a question that atheists can't answer. This chap has a question atheists can't answer. I'm going to answer it. Yeah.
Now, believe it or not, atheism is actually the easiest worldview in the world to refute. And it is because of this one question that we're...
I think flat Earth might be the easiest one to refute, but, you know, we'll go there. Scientology is probably a close second.
uncovered. Hey, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. The Army is a Bible game that can be used to teach apologetics effectively in the home to all ages. Now this question...
Well, it doesn't sound like a game. That sounds awful. That's like having a hyper-religious aunt come round to tell you why your cousin is going to hell because they're gay or something. Don't get Bible, whatever that was. You just made me sad. You'd have more fun forming a prayer circle over your cousin and trying to pray the gay away. You'd learn just as much, which is that it's nonsense.
Now this question was actually posed to Jesus by the Pharisees. Now the Pharisees weren't...
Okay, so it's a question that Jesus answered, because as we know, he was dictating the whole time and it was later transcribed into a book.
The Pharisees weren't stupid people. They knew how to ask questions and entrap people in their words. And this question is devastating if asked to anyone other than someone who has been sent by God.
Okay, we're 41 seconds in. What's the question?
Now we've done a video series, How to Answer Like Jesus. You can see that up there.
I don't need to answer like Jesus, I just need to know what the question is that's going to destroy atheism. Because if I'm on the wrong path, I'm going to hell. And if hell is a real place, I don't want to go there. At the moment, everything in my brain says that any believing in this stuff is nonsense. But if there is a question that can destroy my worldview, I need to know what it is. Because I don't want to be poked in the bottom with red hot pokers by someone wearing a red spandex suit with devil horns and a big tail. I don't want to hang out with Hitler or Gandhi. I want to hang out with... Who's going to be in heaven? Ray Comfort, probably. He's probably going there.
Or in the description below, where we go into the depth of what's actually happening in this account. Right now we're just going to be focusing on the question the Pharisees posed, but if you want to see how Jesus responds and why he responded in the way he did, make sure to check out part 2 of that video series. Now the context of this...
So you're not going to tell us how Jesus just asked the question? For the love of Christ!
Now the context of this question is that Jesus has just entered Jerusalem upon a donkey, revealing himself as the Messiah, fulfilling the prophecy in Daniel chapter 9.
See, that would be in modern times, that would be like coming onto a housing estate on the roof of a Volkswagen Polo, claiming that you are, well, the Messiah. And the upshot of that is people would think you're crazy and they would rob you.
He then proceeds to go to the temple and clear it out of the money changers. This is the second time he's done this.
So now he's gone into an accountant's office with a big magnet and wiped the hard drives. That's what Jesus has done. What a prick.
It's at this point that the Pharisees approach him and ask him this question: by whose authority do you do these things, my friend?
Oh. I hope that's not the question. The idea of that being the question made me gag.
My friends, that is the question.
That is the question. That is the question. The answer to that question would be, I'm a nutter.
That only God can answer. And this is where atheism gets in a pickle. And it goes something like this. An atheist comes up to you and says, give me proof that God exists. All you have to do is say, by whose authority are you going to determine the validity of the truth claims that I present to you? Or...
Oh, can I just point out that most atheists don't walk up to religious people and say, give me proof that God exists. Generally speaking, there's a religious person spouting nonsense at them, and then that is something that an atheist might say if they fancy getting involved in a ridiculous discussion that won't get anywhere with anyone. Anyway,
Or by whose authority are you demanding that I give you evidence that God exists?
Well, if you're making a claim that something is exists, then by yours.
The Bible is riddled with contradictions. By whose authority are you determining what is a contradiction?
We know what contradiction is.
And by whose authority are you placing an obligation on me to live my life in such a way that I don't embrace contradiction?
You can embrace contradiction all you want, it's not a problem. The problem comes when you start dictating how other people should live their lives based on your grasp of contradictions. You can be as Christian as you want, that's fine, but the moment you go and stand outside a health clinic protesting, or the moment you try to say that gay people shouldn't get married because it's unbiblical, you're inserting yourself into other people's lives. If you don't want to get abortions, don't get abortions. If you don't want to get gay married, don't get gay married, it's fine. But you don't get to tell other people what they have to do. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with the question. I'm assuming that if the question is by whose authority, it's too stupid of a question to destroy anything.
The God of the Bible is a tyrant. How can you believe in such an evil being? By whose authority are you claiming that the God of the Bible is immoral or a
I'm not going to bother.
tyrant? The atheist becomes the one who determines ultimate truth, what is logical, and what is moral. They make themselves God.
There's... no. Truth is based on facts. A fact. The truth is where the facts lead. I mean, you don't decide what a fact is. A fact is a fact. And truth is the result based on those. I mean, it's the... You know when you want to... You know, you think... Sometimes you think to yourself, I'm going to listen to this person say something silly. And you don't pay enough attention to how silly it is. And then when it's said and you have to respond to it, you can't work out where to start. Not because it's a clever thing they've said, but it's because it is just so stupid. This has made my head hurt.
The problem with this is that you can do the exact same. You say, well, I disagree with you. Now who's right? You see, God is the...
Yeah, but when you've got two people disagreeing about a physical thing, you look at the evidence and no, but then you don't care about that. So
God is the ultimate source and standard of truth, knowledge, wisdom, goodness, justice. So the question is, by whose authority do you do this? If it isn't God, then it doesn't matter. So Jesus said in Luke 16 verse 30.
Okay, cool. So the question apparently that will destroy atheism is, by whose authority are you asking this question? So it's not actually a question about whatever the question is. It's just basically saying, well, you're not God, so I don't give you two craps about answering the question. There you go. It is the equivalent of putting your fingers in your ears and just saying, I don't think it's worth watching the last minute of this because, well, might as well, might we?
So Jesus said in Luke 16 verse 31, if they don't believe Moses and the prophets, the word of God, neither will they be persuaded if one rises from the dead. You can answer objections with the Bible, and if people reject that, well, they're rejecting the word of God. They're rejecting the ultimate standard of truth.
See, this is why I don't think there's any point having these discussions or debates genuinely with religious people, because they've got the answer already. And if you can't prove that answer wrong because they've got everything invested in it. It's exactly the same as people that believe in flat earth. It's not about being right. It's about knowing that you're part of a club that has got the truth. Doesn't matter if the truth is true. It's everything. It's everything to you. So you're not gonna no one can convince you out of something you believe. You have to unbelieve it yourself. It's like people that don't believe in evolution. It doesn't matter how well they understand evolution. They can't change what they believe. You can't change what they believe. Because it's a belief. They have to, you know, I hate using the term wake up, but...
The ultimate source of truth. So at that point, let them. Okay, good luck with that. Paul the Apostle.
Yeah, good luck with that. Well, I'm going to leave it there because I was expecting, you know, a question, but what I got was the equivalent of a 6-year-old irritating their parents by asking why every time they're asked to do something. That's exactly what that question is. Go to bed. Why? Because you've been bad. Why? Because I say you've been bad. Why? Because I'm the boss. Why? Because I'm older than you. Why? And then eventually, you're gonna drop kick that toddler down the stairs. It's just the way it goes. Anyway, I've been playing around with a different sort of camera setup so I can record videos without having to. I've been doing it on a camera for each sentence I say, and then taking the memory card out, putting it in, importing the. But now I'm doing it with a button. Should I be impressing myself? I don't know. Anyway, please like and subscribe if you liked it. Please leave a comment, even if you didn't like it or you want to call me fat. I'll see you again.